All right. Well, hello.
Oh,
Hello,
hello.
everyone.
Hi,
Welcome,
all.
welcome to So You Don't Put Syrup on Your Grilled Cheese. Okay, this is episode 0 for us. So you
Yay!
all are here at the absolute ground level of this experience that we are creating here. So as y'all are coming on, please do say hey, introduce yourself in the
Yes,
comments, let us know where you're watching from, all of those
yes.
things. We do have an intro here, okay? So we're going to be official because this is like the first beginning of the official podcast, okay? So
There it is.
welcome to So You Don't Put Syrup on Your Grilled Cheese?
Why not?
And what we need y'all to know is yes, we do. It was a breakfast staple in our family, and we're going to get into that in just a little bit, but we do put syrup on our grilled cheese. We need y'all to let us know whether you do that, because if you don't, we trying to figure out what's up. Why would you not?
Why would you not?
But anyway, we are two not so average cousins, real life cousins. We're real
Yes.
life family. And we're here to talk about the stuff that we thought was normal in our family, but it was actually the recipe of family dysfunction. And
Cool.
we have spent years thinking about our lives almost like it was a TV show or it was a lifetime movie. Like, I feel like from very young, we definitely knew, like, this not quite how this is supposed to work. And I do not think when I watch the Disney Channel, these are not
Don't do
how
that.
the things usually be going. And
I
then
didn't see
as
that
we
episode.
right, like I didn't see that one because on the TV. Yeah. So anyway, as we grew up, we kind of got some more words for that and realized that a lot of that was actually trauma. So we are on a mission to unpack a lot of those things, share our stories, use our voices to help other people heal and to really think about mental health. And we're also here to provide some comedic relief because a lot of these things that we're going to share, we cannot make up. Okay. Um, it is they're wild. Like our lives have been wild. So buckle up, for that. We'll be talking about family dynamics, childhood memories, all types of things that probably deserve all the trigger warnings that ever were
Yes.
there to have. So get ready to have honest conversation, some witty banter, some
Witty one.
history of our
Mm.
family where you don't get an inside look into understanding, and take this journey with us as
Let's
we
go.
are going down here. So my name is Kimberland, and Kim is also appropriate in this space, and it has been my idea for a long time to have a podcast with you, dear cousin. And so I would like for you to tell the people who you are and what were your thoughts when I was like, so, and also, we should do
Uh,
a podcast?
well, it was more deer in headlights. Of, are you sure you called the right person? Um, no, I was absolutely excited to do it. You had been talking and trying to get me on this side for a while. You and some other friends actually were like, you need to do this, and I was like, I don't know. But then I realized, you know what, we do say a lot of things that are really interesting and exciting and funny, and I think that there people would resonate with it. Um, and it's just real because I get nervous and I get flustered and I'm like, wait, what was I saying? I lose my train of thought. So luckily we help to kind of balance each other out and bring bring it back to cover everything. But I like to say, who am I? I am the first Kalanda, first of her name, House of Jackson, assistant of entrepreneurs, beacon of banter, creator of content, dancer of dreams, and excellence in tantra, and New Orleans NOLA native. So that is me, and I'm happy to be here with you guys, and just can't wait to see exactly what we do in this space. Hopefully, that you all participate with us. Again, tell us where you're from, say hello, and if you need to know how to work in the comments, help a sister out and put that in there too, just so people know how to talk to us.
So we are live right now on Facebook and on YouTube. So this is interactive, right? You can totally ask us questions and put all the comments in the chat. If you're on YouTube, there should be a place where it says chat live, so then you should be able to go ahead and chat in there. So if you have not done so already, please do say hey. Let us know where you are watching from so that we can acknowledge you and make you a part of this community, because that's what we are wanting to create here. So we really want to have a space where we have transparency. We do not have all the answers. Neither one of us are therapists, right?
Yes.
We have is our life experience,
Yes.
and that life experience is, like I said earlier, is wild. Like, we have really lived some lives. So you can expect for us to be transparent. If we don't know, we're gonna tell you we don't know, and we're gonna find people who probably do know, and some of you may know in the comments. So this is a place where we can have collective healing and a collective mindset. And we want y'all to be willing to go on this journey with us. We want to know what questions you have. We want you to actively contribute to this space and to the healing that we are trying to promote here. If you find something interesting that we're talking about, share this, right? This again is a collective space where we want people to be here. So welcome to those of you who are joining us. Again, if you haven't already said hello, please do say hello and let us know where you are watching us from and all of that. So the question that is in the room is, do you put syrup on your grilled cheese? And this is the thing. I feel like whenever we ask people this question, so first off, do you remember what year it was where we realized like people don't necessarily put syrup on their grilled cheese?
It definitely, let's see, it was still in the Facebook era. I guess we are still in the Facebook era, but we've mostly moved on from there. But it
Yeah.
was, it's a thing. We love Facebook. Don't get me wrong.
Yes. Yes.
So I feel like it was around 2015, maybe
15, 16. Yeah, that feels about right. That
feels
feels about
kind
right.
of.
And if I remember correctly, maybe you had made,
I made grilled cheese. So
yeah.
this is how we realized that this was not a normal. Apparently, you guys say it's not normal, but I made grilled cheese. And if I ever tell you I ate a grilled cheese sandwich, please know it was on a plate covered, in my case, in butter pecan syrup, because I like that
Oh,
now. I have evolved. There's an evolution because you start with
that's
beans.
fancy.
Girl, you should try it. But yeah, I had a picture of my grilled cheese sandwich and was like, oh, I just made grilled cheese today. And everybody was like, what is that? And I think for the first time, realized, I'm like, Kim, they don't, like, they're saying they don't know about grilled cheese and syrup. I thought that was, you know, everybody does that, right? So it was in that moment, we put out a post of everybody that we knew, and people were like, absolutely not. I mean, all sorts of reactions from
Just
extremely incorrect,
outrage. The people
just
were outraged.
wrong opinions on all the things, saying that they would never, they couldn't believe it. And I'm just like, but it's sweet, it's savory. There's people out here
Buttery.
eating, you know what I'm saying? What is wrong about butter, cheese, and bread? Somebody tell me. Well, a lot of people will tell me, but still,
It is,
it's
and
flavor.
it's so interesting because I think I remember saying to myself that, oh, it must be a New Orleans thing. I was like, it's something from New Orleans. Like, it's got to be a New Orleans thing. And then there were people from New Orleans, and they were like, I ain't never in my whole life heard of putting no syrup on no grilled cheese. And I was like, Kalanta, was it just us? Like,
Like
did we
it was
just do?
right, because it was not just a New Orleans thing.
It
And that's my
wasn't a New
sister.
Orleans
Hey,
thing at
Rachel.
all.
Yes, it is delicious. She is a recent convert. that I got to try it.
Rachel, please
So,
tell us your experience in the chat because the people apparently just don't understand. So, what was your experience like for you to get converted over into this syrup on the grilled cheese world? If you could please share that with us, it would be appreciated.
and I mean, I'm just saying her comment was at 1:11 on the clock, so you have to know that it was anointed.
Now, you
Amen.
know,
When we do it.
manifestation. Come on. Okay. Now, come on here. That was the sign. So yeah, we want to know if you all put syrup on your grilled cheese. It's something that we then discovered that we do in our family, and that is kind of like the whole point of this is that we will be talking to people, and then all of a sudden, like I'll see their face change, and then you're like, oh, you didn't, y'all didn't
Yeah.
do that.
Okay.
Oh,
Just me. Got it.
great. Forget I said that. Moving on. It's just like, so
And
that's kind of like the
definitely.
experience as we are trying to navigate what is I hate the word normal because normal is I understand now that normal is so subjective.
Right.
Um but the things that we thought were normal, common, that was happening in the world, and it was literally just in our family and in our family unit.
Yes,
Okay,
indeed.
so we have a testimony from the chat. Would you like to go ahead and read the testimony that has been submitted
So our
to?
testimony in review number one says, yes. So my first time, I was wowed. I never had it until my sister introduced it to me, and now I love syrup on my grilled cheese. It makes it so sweet. And I will say, we also had that one was an extra savory one because we did jalapeno cheese on the
Ooh,
ones I made for her. So you can have all
mm,
the variety in this that you
mm.
want. Why would you block your blessings, people? Come on over.
Girl,
Come
come
on over.
on now. Wow. So yes, thank you for the testimony live as we are here. So we're going to challenge you all to do that, right? Step outside your comfort zone, okay? And your mind just might get blown. I'm telling you that I cannot imagine. You know what I thought was weird? Back to this, and then we're going to go back to where we were. I thought it was weird that people ate grilled cheese with French fries and ketchup. I thought that was the strangest thing.
Yeah, because that feels very
Like,
burger like.
yeah, but it's not. So I was
No,
like, you
soup.
eating grilled cheese with ketchup and fries? Like that was just so odd to me.
Yeah. Grilled cheese and soup is acceptable. Fries, that's too much. Too much. Too far.
That's where we draw the line. That's
Draw the
where we
line.
draw the line.
Actually, I
Okay.
draw lots of lines. We'll find the lines in a minute.
No worries, no worries. So, what I would like to know, and what I want us to talk about is what do you feel are the things that you are currently unpacking in your world
Ooh.
right now? And I know that's a lot. So, just pick whichever one bubbles to the top, right? But what are the things? Maybe there's been like some type of I call them brain field trips, like some type of rabbit hole that you've been down or like whatever. So what you currently unpacking right now? What's bubbling up in your spirit?
Well, let's see. Bubbling up in my spirit right now is a lot of things circling around employment for me personally and having it circle back to where I started coming out of high school. So when I left high school, I graduated from McMain. Go Mustangs! If any of y'all in here, class of '97. I know you didn't think so. But I always knew once I left that I was going to come back, and I wanted to be a high school guidance counselor. And in order to teach, or in order to be a guidance counselor here in New Orleans, you had to teach for at least 3 years. So I said, okay, I'm gonna go to school. I'm gonna be a history teacher because that information doesn't change. Y'all got to deal with this new math. I never would have had to worry about that. The facts is the facts, unless you're in certain states and they like to scrub some of those facts, but things happen. Um, but anyway, I figured history education would be the route to go, and I could teach history until I could be a guidance counselor and show kids that, hey, if you don't fit in this little path, it's all right. There's 1,000 other pathways for you.
Mm,
Do not give up. don't feel like because you're not a good test taker that you're not going to be a good citizen of the world. Like that's just not
Mm.
accurate. So that was where I started. Well, I went to school and then started making money in the retail field and did that instead. Now I've somehow gotten back looped around to potentially going into education. So that's something super fresh and trying to unpack what that looks like in my life, and see where that takes me in these next steps. So who knows?
So I have a lot of questions that I've been
I bet.
holding. I
it's
was like, oh
a
my God,
fight.
I got
It's a fight, y'all. We have to not talk to each other because otherwise, y'all would be looking at us, looking at each other. So,
right. It's so many things, so many things. So first of all, my professional life, for anybody who doesn't know, is in education.
yeah.
And that was not the plan. So my degree is in biology, and I thought I was going to be working in a lab somewhere, finding a cure to sickle cell, like all this, right? And then I was like called into education, and I didn't go to school to be a teacher. Like I literally walked off the street and was like, "We're gonna have to figure this out." Like it was a guy call. And I was thinking yesterday, I was like, I feel like Kalonda said that she wanted to be in the school system. Like I was like, I feel like you said you wanted to be a guidance counselor. So today, when you were talking about it, and you're like, yeah, so it's coming full circle. It made me wonder what that feels like to feel like you had a path, if you will, and there was a fork in the road, and you chose to go down a different pathway and spend some time over that pathway, and now it's like you're right back to the same fork in the road. Like, what does that feel like?
I mean, it's crazy, is what it feels like. Because you look at all of the things, but I take it that if this is ultimately where I wind up going, that I had to go through that alternate route in order to be successful with this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that if I choose to go into teaching, that maybe I wouldn't have been as successful or as impactful as I needed to be if I didn't have those other experiences. Which I think is really true because
Mm-hmm.
the things I've seen and people I've been interacting with, I just wouldn't have been able to read that or learn that in a book that
Mm-hmm.
says
Mm-hmm.
now you're a teacher, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, so for me, I think that's really how it is. But it does feel weird to go. That was the longest scenic route in history, but you know, best way to make God laugh is to make a plan, and then that's
Yeah.
exactly what I did. So.
Yeah, but you know what? My favorite, so I mentor teachers, right? And a lot of the
Hmm.
teachers that I would mentor were, well, they were all first and second year teachers, but many of them were second career
Mm.
teachers, right? And it's so fun. I'm putting all these pieces together because before I started teaching, I was in retail management,
Right.
and I
Yes.
did that, and then I was like, no,
Uh-huh.
I got to get out of it. Like this is too much, and that's what teacher presented itself. Um, but anyway, a lot of the people that I mentored that turned out to be some of the best teachers were people
Mhm.
that it was a second career because you have so much life experience and you
Mm.
you understand how the development of these young people is going, like what they need to have in order to be successful out here in the
Right.
real world.
Right.
So it gives a different view, if you will, in my opinion, because you're not relying on book knowledge.
Right.
Education looks nothing like it is in the books, like nothing. Like,
No.
and I can say of all the teachers, and I probably over the course of the time that I was in that role had about 250 direct first and second year teachers that I either mentored or observed. The people who struggled the most were the ones who had just gone to school
Wow.
because they just
It's
this
like,
not
how do
what they
you
taught
apply this?
me. And I don't know what
Right.
to do with this. We're just like,
I just want them to tell me what a rhombus is. Like, why do they
yeah,
not remember? And it's like you
yeah,
can't really apply that to real life in a way that's gonna make
yeah.
it important for them.
Yeah.
Uh,
So it's interesting. It's really interesting. So I do think that that is it's necessary, I think, to be successful, especially when you're looking at those real world applications and such. So I had wanted to say that, but then I also heard you say that you wanted to be a guidance counselor because you wanted to show kids that there were alternative pathways and there were different ways that even if you're not a good test taker or whatever, that you can still be successful. What made you like have that type of passion about like what made you be like, I need to do this? This is the mark I need to make.
Yeah. It was I will actually credit Eleanor McMain Magnet High School when it was a magnet high school for being the catalyst for that, because we saw students that went into school and then they said, you know what, in our sophomore or junior year, they said, I'm going to get my GED and then go to college from here, or I'm going to
Mm,
do my concurrent enrollment so I can graduate early and start now. And our guidance counselors, our teachers, all said like, hey, there are multiple ways to get where you want to go. And a lot of my friends who weren't in that path or didn't go to the same school as me were getting almost browbeaten that you got to
yeah.
go to school, you got to go to school. If you don't go to school, you're not going to have a job, you're just not going to be a valuable individual. And to
Hmm.
tell somebody who's still developing their frontal cortex like that you're not going to be anything is damaging.
Hmm.
And then not giving any options outside of that, because we're not even talking about the fact that maybe there were just difficulties in how they were being tested, not that they didn't have the knowledge, just that they weren't able to demonstrate it in the way that was being asked of them.
Hmm.
Was just it was I just couldn't wrap my head that that was okay, and
Hmm.
that if somebody decided to graduate high school and start working and build their own successful business working for themselves, that that wasn't a success. Like that just because you didn't have a college degree on the wall, that didn't make you any less than, but let's show you how to be productive and what do you want to do. Like don't just say
Hmm.
I'm done with high school and I'm finished. That's not the answer. But I also know that college isn't the only answer, but let's find it first.
Mm.
So I definitely credit McMahon there because it showed us that we didn't have to do it one way or another.
That's dope because, and mind you, I had an amazing guidance counselor, Miss Dillon, which I actually was able to reconnect with her right after or right before during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And she's passed now, but it was like the best type of
Mm-hmm.
amazingness to be able to let her know the impact that she had had like on me and my life and um because guidance counselors are so important like when it comes to these conversations like how you're supposed
Right.
to act in the real world. But also having said that, I don't remember conversations that were like if you don't go to school there are other pathways. It was
Because
very
there weren't.
much like you need to go to school and where are you going to college, like that's it.
Yeah.
So I carried that belief with me, even as an educator for a really long time, that it was like, no, you need to go to school. And then I started thinking about, and I think it was a movement that kind of rose up about college and career readiness. And some of that is because in the US, we don't have skilled workers very
Right.
much right now because there was this push to go to school, right?
Go to school.
So
Right.
they started like developing the career and trade programs and all that kind of stuff to try to get more skilled workers, but like that was never the conversation
No.
in my areas at all. It was very much you go to school or bust, like you go to school or you
Absolutely.
just gonna be poor, and apparently you
Right.
want to be poor because you're not
You
doing
want to
good
be
at these
poor.
things.
Well,
Yeah,
and here's the thing. They also said, go to school. And they were like, but you're not going to school unless you get a scholarship because your parents aren't
because ain't
able
no
to send
money.
you to school.
Right,
So good
right.
luck. Like that message, you want to talk about, like, okay, what do I do with that at 15 years old, 16 years old, being told, if you don't get a scholarship, I can't send you to school.
Mm-hmm.
And unless you're that kid that can say, okay, I'm good at school, I can take really good tests, or I'm gonna figure it out, or my teachers care about me, or there's enough attention that can really foster me to get to these scholarships. or even show me where these scholarships are, that you're
Mm-hmm.
thinking there's just no hope. And we wonder
Exactly.
in places like New Orleans why these kids are running around hopeless, because a lot
Mm-hmm.
of them have gotten that message and they don't
Yeah.
realize that there's so many other options for them, and that that's not just empty speak, but that there really are other options.
Right. So you seem pretty passionate about what you're talking about here. Now,
But here's the problem.
what's the
Here's
problem?
the
What's the
problem. The
problem? What's the problem?
problem is, why don't they put the money there? Like,
Well,
I could live right now if I take a job that is not in the school industry or in the school field. I would make more money than saying, okay, I want to go teach sixth graders about social studies. Like, that makes no sense,
yeah,
because now I'm having to pick my survival over yours. Because aside from just the salary, in order for me to be good at what I do, I'm going to have to pour more into that.
absolutely.
So it's like, where am I getting these resources from? Because the school can't afford to give it to me. They can't
Mm-hmm.
afford to pay me.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, how did you find success in doing both? Because you were an amazing instructor,
Mm-hmm.
and you had to straddle that line and do both, of like taking care of yourself, but also enriching your kids.
Yeah. Well, in my earlier years, I very much so I started teaching when I was 20, what year was that? 2006, 25. And it was just me, right? I didn't even have Jack. So it was like just it was just me, so there was a lot of sacrifice in those earlier years of making sure that I figured out what the hell I was doing. I taught science, but I taught general science. My degree is in biology. So when it came to earth science, astronomy, the oceanography, child,
On
let's
YouTube.
get up, let's get on here. And YouTube wasn't even that sophisticated
I
back then.
know.
You know what
No,
I mean?
no,
So
no.
I was very much
You asking
figuring,
Jeeves.
honey, I was figuring it out. Okay. And so I would go through like the book and I would learn the lesson before I had to teach the kids. And there was
Mhm,
sometimes I remember teaching them wrong and having to come
mhm.
back and being like, yeah, rip that page out the notebook because we that was not it. Because we gonna do this one again because that wasn't it.
I love
I
it.
had to do that a few
Yeah.
times because I was figuring it out, as I was
Wow.
going. But one of the things that did, I believe, and if any of my former students ever see this, they can attest to whether I'm telling the truth or not. I put my effort into getting to know my kids.
Right.
And I spent a lot of time seeing them as people, being a
Mhm.
child that, I did well in school. And I was
Right.
that kid that got the scholarships. Because if that's how the hell I'm about to get up out of here, then let me do what the hell I need to do to get up out of here.
Amen.
College, you say?
That's what
Scholarship?
I'm gonna do her. I'm gonna know
That's
her.
what
We're
we
gonna be
do.
friends.
Okay, honey. Okay. So I really I could see the kids. I could see them, and I
Right.
could see that there was a lot other stuff going on. I could see when there were issues going on at home because I was that kid. So I really focused there. And I will say probably the hardest thing those first couple years was really not about the instruction.
Mhm.
Also, high stakes testing also wasn't as high stakes as it is now. So, keep
Right.
in mind this was like 2006, 2007, almost 20 years ago. But
Don't ever say that like that again. Mm-mm.
what? Oh,
No.
I know. Because 20 years ago, it's definitely
I
1980.
love it.
So I don't even know, like, why. Yeah, right.
I don't know what kind of
But
math you're doing.
she was
Please,
like,
love. Please.
she's like, let me just put this out there. Don't you ever say that again.
Ever.
But yeah, so high stakes testing wasn't as prevalent, if you will, back then. So I really had a lot more time to be flexible with the types
Mhm.
of things that I was teaching my kids. So I was always the like get the most bang for your buck type of person.
Ah,
So if we have to learn, for instance, I'll give an example. I'll give an example of something I do with my kids. So I had to teach them about lactic acid fermentation.
okay.
Okay. So, right. So this
All
is
I know
sixth
is
grade
that
science.
after you exercise,
What you
you got to
know?
get you have to let the lactic acid get out of your muscles after you exercise, or you can't hold on as long, and that's why I can't do a pull up.
And how do you know that the lactic acid is in your muscles?
Girl, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm
So,
imagining a science teacher somewhere told me that.
well, amen, science teacher. So this is
Amen.
what I did. This is what I did for my kids. So I was like, I told them, I said, tomorrow we're gonna have an experience. I need y'all to come in with tennis shoes. I need you to come in with workout clothes. Like we're gonna be active tomorrow. Okay. You're gonna need your notebook and you're gonna need something to write with. That's it. Other than that, bring your body and be clothed properly, right? All right, cool. So they come in the next day. I got a whistle. This boot camp. All right,
I
we
got
up
a
in
whip.
here. This is boot camp. So I'm like, get your journal, write down how you're feeling. Talk about your mind, your body, your soul, your spirit, your heart rate, right? Had all these things on the board. Talk about all of that, right? Cool, bet. So, all right, put your journal down first. We're gonna do some jumping jacks. All right, so we're gonna warm up. So I'm doing jumping jacks. Bet. All right, sit down, get your journal, same prompts, write about how you feeling. Bet. All right, next, let's do some sit-ups. Let's get it. All right, crunches. Okay, bet. Get your journal, right? After that, all right, we're gonna run in place. All right, running in place. Bet. All right, sit down, write your journal. So the whole time, of course, as they're writing in their journal, like, I'm out of breath. I can't, who we? What is happening? Why the hell she got me doing this stupid shit, right? So they back. All right, so now we're going outside. Now we're doing wall sits, right? Because I got the
Yes,
best of them stuff.
indeed.
We only got a 50-minute class period. So now we're hitting these wall sits, right? So, of course, once they're sitting on the wall, what happens?
Your legs start, you're
Legs
trembling,
shaking,
everything.
burning, right? And what I'm
Right,
looking for them to say in their journal. So after that, now you need to go in. I need you to do your assessment again. What I'm looking for them to say is the burning,
right.
right? I want them to identify that. So after they identified that, like talk to your partner what you had and we was burning it. Well, when did it start burning? Because I couldn't catch my breath. Well, what you think was happening, right? This is the difference between cellular respiration, which focuses on oxygen. This is why they tell you when you are exercising to breathe, because if you run out of oxygen, your body switches over to an anaerobic situation, which is the lack of
Lack of
oxygen, which
activity.
produces acid. Lactic
Okay.
acid fermentation comes through that process,
Look at that, everybody here. Y'all
right?
all just learned something new today, or a refresher
But
at least.
that's how I taught my students about lactic acid fermentation. So I started thinking, how can I give them an experience
Hmm.
that will help them hold on to this learning as opposed to being like, so the formula for cellular respiration is C6H12O6 plus O2 gives like that. What are you talking about,
Right,
ma'am? They're
right.
never going to forget that. So what I would say to you, and I think that you're very good at this, is thinking about things in experiences.
Mm,
Um, so that you're able to create these memorable opportunities for learning
mm.
with kids, right? And that's whatever avenue that you choose to go down, right?
Right,
So whether
right.
that is you operating in a support capacity, whether that is you deciding that you want to step into the primary instructional role, whether that is you deciding that you want to go into the guidance counseling, whether you decide you just want to be on the staff, how can you provide learning experiences for
Mm.
children that are going to be impactful?
Wow.
And in that, how do I have to honor myself in being able to provide those experiences where I also am practicing what I preach,
Right, right.
you know? And that's the hardest part. Like the work that I do with social emotional learning with educators, we're taught in education that we're supposed to sacrifice our life
Mm.
for pennies, one, and
Literal
for
pennies.
for the mission, right? And people don't get into education for the money. Nobody gets into education for the money. Nobody gets into education for the money. We get into it because
Cause
we care
ain't
about
none.
children. Ain't
Cause
none.
ain't
That
no
ain't
money
where it's
there.
at.
Ain't none.
That's not where it's at.
Mm-mm.
Not in traditional education,
Right,
right?
right,
So I'm a
right.
firm proponent of people who come through education and they find a passion that you step outside the system to impact the system from the outside. Because inside the
Gotcha.
system is fuckery and foolishness. There's no other way that I can put it. It's just absolute ridiculous. But you have to know how the system works on the inside to be able
In
to
order
affect
to
it from the
impact it
outside.
from the outside.
So that was my real long answer to your short question.
There it is. I like it though. You did it. You did it. And you're right, Ken. Teachers should be the highest paid occupation. No other demographic has this much responsibility and compassion. So
Exactly.
we are grateful for our
Exactly.
teachers.
Yeah. So I think this is going to be interesting to see where you land with all these options. So I had said something to you earlier when we were on the phone, and I was like, and I'm not going to like continue down this pathway. But a few days ago, we had talks, and you were like, woo, things, come on, something, right?
I'm
And
gotta say,
now you're sitting here and you have, it sounds like, I don't know how the last thing went today. You could tell me if you want to, but it sounds like you have at least 9 to 12 options of avenues that you could walk down for employment. How does
yeah.
how does how has all of that landed, ma'am, on the things?
Ooh, on the things. I mean, if ever you have lost faith, lost sight of where you're going. And I mean, I feel like a lot of people have those moments, regardless of what your belief system is, whatever you call it. But just when you get those moments where you're like, look, something has got to shake because I have nothing else. It's about to, I'm going to be shaking. I'm going to be the next thing shaking on the pole somewhere, left cheek, right cheek. Like it was
Period.
one of those things was going to happen. Because I was like, your girl does not know what else to do at this point. Like, I don't know. And I remember having that conversation with you, and it was just, I said that I'm gonna start, praying more, just being more intentional about talking and putting out what I need and what I want into the world, and then asking the universe, asking God, like I need your help because I don't know, you know what I mean? And then moving on that, finding out
Mhm.
whatever that next step is going to be, or not knowing what that next step is going to be and just moving in the direction as if, and then
Mhm.
just checking. So every day I was trying to like Pam it, basically pray, ask, move on what am I going to do next. And then literally a conversation turned into an opportunity, turned into 3 interviews, turned into 9 offers. Like I'm overwhelmed. I'm in awe. I'm I'm disappointed that I didn't believe in myself for a minute, that I didn't believe in God for a minute, of what he could do. Um, but ultimately I sit here grateful, like just grateful for the opportunity, grateful for the spirit of being able to be in these different rooms and see these people that are in front of our children, even if
Mhm.
that's not the route that I go through. Just seeing that our kids are in good hands, and that there are people that do care and are looking to fill these spaces, with people who can really pour into these kids while we have them, because we don't have
Mm.
them very long.
Right.
18, it's not long at all. Time
It's
goes
not.
so fast. But no, I said God did his big showing out where even today for my breakfast, I had enough points in my little Chick-fil-A mobile app to get a free cookie and a free spicy chicken biscuit. And if you know anything about me, you know that I love God's chicken from Chick-fil-A. Mm. Oh my goodness. So the fact that he saw for it to give
That
me a
was the
free breakfast,
blessing. Yes,
that was
Lord.
it. I was like, I will take it. Like he did his good work, providing Jesus' biscuits. Like I can't. It was a great day. So yeah, I feel really good, and I'm glad to see it. I wasn't. We'll talk more throughout all of this. That that there were times that I wasn't sure I would.
Mhm.
Real life. Someone's at the door. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Okay.
Well,
Look, that sounds like me. I was on live the other day and somebody was ringing the doorbell and I was like, sound like they about to be out there because I don't
I don't
even
know what
know.
to do. I was
Not
like, is this
expecting
when you
what.
tap dance? Like,
Yeah. So you go check the door. No, you go check the
I
door and
mean,
see what's going on. And I'm surprised the rod
oh, she
didn't
got a.
really go off.
You don't see our third co-host in here, guys. I have Sarah Gwendolyn Jackson, who is a little pit. Very
They
interesting.
still not.
Yes.
Go, go
Tell them
see.
about
Go
Sarah,
see.
girl. Tell them about Sarah.
I will tell them about Sarai. So Sarai is Kalanda's fur baby. And Sarai sings and she tap dances, actually. And
Oh, I'm so excited.
hold on, let me mute her mic so we don't have to so Sarai sings and tap dances, and she was singing before we went live, and then Kalanda found this ginormous bone that came out of somewhere. So that's how Sarai is entertaining herself. But Sarai, she gonna make some appearances, I'm certain, at some point, but we might have to do a collection to make sure she have a bone every time that we go live, because she's been amazing. She
This
ain't
is
said a mumbling word.
Manda. Manda knows. Manda is my neighbor. She can hear Sarah through the wall sometimes. They'll talk and have conversations. So she can attest to the fact that Sarah is talkative. Yes, she
That's
has an
what.
affinity for all the scratches, including butt scratches. Those are her
Yes,
favorites.
and she wears pearls because she's
Yeah,
fancy.
because she's a
Um,
lady. How else will you
yes,
know she's a girl?
yes, she's because this is a thing that we have done. You know what I'm about to say?
Yes.
So growing up, one of the things that we learned is that you can never leave the house without earrings, because if you do, they're gonna think that you're a boy. So we always have to have on earrings, to the point, and I have on my little studs today so they can fit under these headphones. But we were taught that you have to wear earrings, to the point, I think I told you before, I have gotten to work and not had earrings on and went home to get earrings. Like, it was so conditioned. And even now, the studs that I wear, I just keep them in all the time. So I don't have to remember to put the earrings in. So if I put earrings like that have a hook back or whatever, then I will just and then
Real smooth, real smooth.
Kalana just sent me a message.
Okay,
Okay.
triple side note. If you ever have anybody in your friend group that you are not allowed to sit next to during like serious events, just know it's us. Like they don't let us sit next to each other because we can't just no,
We cutting
it's not
up.
gonna happen.
We are cutting
Uh,
up.
sorry about that,
Cutting
y'all.
up. But anyway, so I was talking about earrings because Sarah wears pearls because
Yeah.
she's a lady, and that's how you know that she's a girl, because she has on pearls, which is an extension of our oppression with earrings.
You will always, and you will typically find us with an extra pair in our purse or car, just in case.
Because you can't be out there without with your ears naked.
You
You can't
know.
be out there with your naked ears. Apparently, it's an
So
abomination.
does everybody use erasers as extra pencil backs? I mean, as extra earring backs?
I feel like that's common, right? No,
Well, I don't know. That's
I
why we
bet
here in
we
the
didn't
first
never
place
know
because
no
we
more.
thought grilled cheese was coming.
This is true. This is very true. I
Just
have
wondering.
used them, and I feel like I've seen other people use them, like multiple people outside of our family. But you know what I
Okay.
wanted to tell you about an eraser that I did when I was in eighth grade?
Oh God, when did you do with an eraser in eighth grade?
I don't know if y'all remember this, but it was a trend going around. I don't know if this happened at your school, right? So you can tell me. There was a trend going around where people were giving themselves tattoos with erasers.
I mean, I
Okay,
don't
guess not.
doubt that it happened, but I don't remember. That sounds like scariness.
Pain. It sounds like pain,
Yes.
is what it
I
sounds
mean,
like.
I love tattoos. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
However,
Yeah, but this was not that. So in eighth grade, I erased a T in my thigh in class to give myself a tattoo. So it would make
okay,
an eraser burn, and then it was scab over, and then that was the tattoo. I had it. It's gone away now. I don't see it, but
You don't
I did.
say. I mean, I
I
feel
don't
like
see
I
it
know
anymore.
what the T is for, but what was the T for?
But Thailand, it was the
I'm
easiest
just,
letter to make.
I was just making sure. I didn't want
It
to
was just
assume.
2 lines. Because if I tried to put
Okay.
a K, that would have been 3 lines. The J, I would have had to get the curve, So I just Keenan, do you remember this? He was in the class. Do you remember that we used to do this? Some people used to do this. I did a T. What you thought? It wasn't for no boy, that's for sure.
Well,
No,
I mean, I didn't think it
it
was.
was for
I was
Thailand.
figuring it was for Thailand, but I knew you didn't know how to spell that for a long time.
Well, I knew it started with a T, nigga. Don't do me.
Oh, oh my God. Keenan says he does remember. He does
It
remember
was a
this
thing. It was
eraser
a
incident.
thing at our small Lutheran school. So when you had said eraser, I was like, dang, I had forgot about that. Yeah, that was wild. That
Oh
was
my God. Oh, so what funny things did you guys do in your elementary,
oh
high
my
school days
god,
that you're pretty sure didn't happen anywhere else? Feel free to tell us
bruh.
down in the comments. We want to know.
Well, what did you do? What kind of stuff did you do?
I was a nerd. I don't
I
know.
was
I didn't
too.
do. Yeah, I know. But you had fun. I mean, I had fun
You
too.
don't feel like it
I do, but I don't think I did weird stuff.
was
I mean,
weird.
I probably did do weird stuff though, because I was an only child, so I was by myself a lot. Who knows, John?
So
At this
everything
point,
normal in your world. You was like, everybody
everything's
was
normal.
doing
I was the only point of view I had to worry about. It was like this sounds about right. Everybody's got to do it this way. I mean, you had an imaginary neighborhood, right?
it. Imaginary neighborhood?
Yeah.
What you mean?
So you have an imaginary. Describe.
Wait, I want to read that. I said
Okay.
imaginary neighborhood. You said
Yeah. That's you know.
tell us about your imaginary neighborhood.
All right. So you know how some people have imaginary friends. That's a
Yeah,
thing. I've seen
yes,
it on TV.
yes.
I'm like, that's how you
And
determine
did
what
you have an imaginary friend?
they lived in the neighborhood.
And
Exactly,
that's what
like
I was
Mr.
about to
Rogers.
ask. I was about to ask him, was it like Mr. Rogers? That's exactly what I
So
was just about to say.
so funny enough though, it wasn't built like Mr. Rogers. It was more
Okay.
like Fraggle Rock. So y'all
Mm.
remember? I don't. Everybody remember Fraggle Rock?
I
Am
definitely
I
remember
aging
Fraggle
myself?
Rock. I don't
Okay.
know.
Well, if
We'll
you
find
don't
out,
know,
I guess.
Google it. I'm like, if you don't know,
Fraggle Rock
Google it.
used to be cash cares away, worries for another day. Let the music play down at Fraggle Rock. Oh, I used to love Fraggle Rock. Down at
Oh, Red
Fraggle
was my
Rock.
favorite. But they had little green people that lived
The
that
ones
little
who
green
built
people.
things. I feel
They
like
were the
you've told me this
builders.
before. I feel like
Oh
you've told me this before. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
So my imaginary neighborhood is like the little green people building all the little structures and stuff, which actually makes more sense now about my brain people working in the warehouse.
I was just
Damn. Okay. Um but yes, so my imaginary friends all lived in like this big glass building because that's what they did.
he
So
said the only time
he
he got to watch Fraggle Rock was at my house because my mama worked at the cable company, so we always had cable.
He had HBO and Disney, y'all. They had
I had all
money.
the channels. I had all the channels. That's one thing I did not have to want for as a child was to watch stuff on TV. We had cable and we had a TV in every place imaginable, every
Everywhere.
bedroom, the kitchen, the
Everywhere.
bathroom. It was,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. But sorry, go ahead.
No
So
worries. So
your
you
green
had the
people.
people, had my green
Mm,
people, and I had like an old man that lived there. There was a little girl who I think was really modeled after Ramona with the red
you
curl,
have
the bling
told me
bling
this
bling.
before. Uh-huh.
And then there were a set of twin boys, but one of them lied all the time, and one of them told the truth all the time. And the only way I could tell them apart was to ask them a math question. But
I remember this.
but then I found a flaw in that plan because I was like, what if he just got it wrong? He may not be lying. He may have just gotten the wrong answer. But that's
Look
why I
at
have
your
therapy.
empathy and compassion.
But that's also why I have therapy, because that is what you call overthinking. Because it's an imaginary. I don't even just have an imaginary friend. I have an imaginary neighbor.
An imaginary village. So I'm wondering though about the people in the neighborhood. Like, how did they
Mhm.
move? And like, how did they like buy houses in the neighborhood? Or like, did they just show up, or
So
were
we
they
didn't
already
really
there when
have
you
like
got
currency.
there?
They were just kind of there. They were kind of milling about, moving throughout their day and about, and as I'm walking through the neighborhood, I may have whatever interactions with them based on what was happening in and around real life.
Mm,
Perfect sense. um,
interesting.
but we talk. So I alluded to this being like my brain people. So why don't
Yeah.
you take a moment to tell everybody what,
What
if you
brain people
like,
are.
what brain
Yeah.
people are?
Okay. So in our brains, I think about our brains as like a corporation or an operation, right? So when you have thoughts, right? Thoughts originate somewhere, and then those thoughts go through a process before they come out of your mouth, right? Like there's a whole process to thinking. And the word for it is metacognition. It's called thinking about your thinking. So when I talk about my brain and I talk about brains to people, I talk about it like
Mhm.
it's an organization. So at your organization, there's someone who's in charge, for instance, of your creativity, somebody who's in charge of productivity, somebody who's in charge of emotions and feelings, and somebody else who's in charge of vacations and making sure that you take a damn nap, right? So
Right.
you have these different departments in your brain, and in those departments there are people that operate things, right? So one of my favorite departments is my memory department. Right now, sometimes I have a guy that works there and he's like employee of the year, like homie be
Really?
on it. Oh, when that nigga's at work, okay, he is doing the thing. Okay, like he it's chef's kiss. Like I can go all around the world and come back to what I was talking about, like boom. But when he is not at work, the temp guy or the guy that's on the ship, when he takes off away, he is so delayed. Like it be delayed, like hours delayed, and
Oh my
oftentimes I just
god.
be like, never mind, he not here today. Like, or
Don't
I
worry
told
about
him
it.
he could go home. Like, don't even worry about it. So anyways, so it's a way that I think about how my brain operates. So I don't know how many workers I have, right? So it sounds like
Right.
you are well aware of the warehouse, if you will, and I'm gonna let you get into that in a
Hmm.
minute, the warehouse portion of it, right?
Right.
I don't talk to the people that are doing the day-to-day daily situations. I
Hmm.
talk to the VPs of the things. Right.
Oh,
So
okay.
like it's like I'm having board meetings and I'm like, hey,
Hmm.
hey,
Get it together.
I need everybody to sit down and we're gonna have some order in this place. Okay.
Nothing.
We're gonna have some order in here. Because what will happen, if you can imagine, you've seen movies before, like where Wall Street and they're
Hmm.
trading on the floor and it's like papers flying about all
Yeah.
everywhere. That's what they be doing. And we're not doing that. Okay. Now sit down and take a number. Who's next with the next thought? Like y'all just out here doing the most. So
Oh
there are
my god.
times where I be having to get them together because it just be a lot and it just be a barrage of things. And I literally will be like, sit down. Everybody sit down. What's so funny, Manda? When I was teaching, this is how I used to give my rules for my students when we're taking a test. Like I would be like, we're about to take a test. I need you to make sure that you are seated in your chair with both of your feet underneath your desk, facing forward. Okay, while we are taking this test, I need to make sure that you are facing forward the entire time. If something happens, for instance, that you drop your pencil, you need an eraser, something of that nature, you're going to raise your hand and you're going to wait silently until I come over to you. Okay, you are not to talk to your neighbor for any reason other than that you are dying. Okay, and I need to see active symptoms that is occurring. Okay, but I am your first line of defense when it comes to that. All right. What questions do you have about what I am asking you to do? Like it was a switch because I don't want no
There
problem.
are the restrooms are located at the
We gonna
forward
have
and last of
order.
the. of the
in this
cabbage.
place. You understand me? We gonna have
Peanut.
order in this place. So sometimes I be having to get my brain people together like that because they be doing the most. Which is also why I allow them to take brain field trips because it's a lot.
Mm.
Like it's a lot to keep orchestrating all of that. So sometimes it's like, go do what you want to do. Just go do what the hell you want to do. I don't care. Just go do what you however long you want to
No
do it.
frolic.
And I'll talk
I'll
to
be
y'all
there.
tomorrow, and we'll be back in the office tomorrow. That's the other thing is that, and then this last thing I'm gonna say, I'm gonna let you jump in here. My hours of operation they're kind of shifting a little bit now since I'm back in Colombia. I don't know if I mentioned that, y'all. I live in Colombia
Oh yeah, we
in
did
South
not.
America. I left the US in 2021 and I don't plan on coming back. But anyway, since I've been back here in Colombia, I feel like my circadian rhythm is
Hmm.
still adjusting and such. So my hours of operation have shifted a little bit. But what I usually try to do is 11 a.m. is when
Hmm.
people start coming into the office. Okay. Now we have like a flex rule. People come in, they get their coffee, they had a breakfast, they do a little water cooler talk here and there. It's a soft entry into the day.
Mm.
Then probably about 1 o'clock is where we rocking and rolling. All right, we
Got
out
it.
here, we got the things, and that probably lasts, depending on the day, maybe until like 6 or 7.
Okay.
And then after that, it's the free for all. It's the free for all. It is a free for all. Okay. So yeah, so that's my brain people. Okay, so you
Hey,
alluded to your brain people are at a warehouse and very
yes.
reminiscent of the green people on Fraggle Rock.
Right. They
Okay.
have their little boxes. So my brain people work basically in a warehouse, and where you have, notice my furrowed brow, hours of operation, concept. Um, this warehouse is 24 hours. Does not
Mm.
stop. It's very strange. So much so that I was up this morning from 3 to 5, just cause why
Mm.
not? Why not?
Mm.
I thought of the
Mm-hmm.
texture. Um, I don't know. Just they be doing things, and they want me.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just really want me to be there while they're doing it, even though I have
Mm.
absolutely no involvement with it at all. So they could just be organizing things and just say, hey, you know what? That time you saw that episode of the Cosby Show was when you learned that the component for gold was AU because they were like, hey, what happens if somebody steals your gold watch? What do you yell?
AU.
AU. Why do I need to think about that at 3:30 in the morning though?
And
I
that's
don't.
what you were thinking about.
But that's what they be doing. That's the shit they do. So anytime between, they could be doing anything, but it's
Oh,
typically a
wow.
bunch of boxes, and they may be like a box for the podcast. Okay, what are the things I need to be doing to make sure everything's ready to have these open, fun, transparent conversations with my real life cousin? It may be okay. Employment. Lord have mercy, what we gonna do in order to get some money in here that we don't wind up on an OnlyFans? Little just different boxes, and they have different
Uh-huh.
stuff in them. So that is my organization of my, and I use that term very loosely, of my brain people. But it wasn't until we started talking about the imaginary neighborhood that I
That you made
realized
the connection.
very similar because they were a little construction site that was
Yeah,
constant motion. So
always.
it's just been that forever.
So
And
are
now
you
time to rest.
so are you like the overseer? Like are you just kind of like walking the floor?
I guess I'm more like, yeah, I'm like the operations manager. You
Okay.
just
Well,
in
that's
there.
the
I'm that fits. Just go in, cheer them on, give them the direction. Like these are the buckets that I'm gonna need to work today. So
Uh-huh.
today we need Pam is every day because we need to pray ass move every day. We need
Uh-huh.
to work on getting a job every day. Like these are the
Okay.
boxes that we're gonna focus on. Now vacation may pop up. You know, um, family time, making sure you're spending time with your mom and your sisters and your brothers, like
Mhm.
get all that
Mhm.
in.
Mhm.
That all just depends as they kind of rotate out on priorities. But
Mm.
I'm just on the floor, just kind of orchestrating all of it.
It feels
Yeah.
very logistical. Like it feels
That's so
very
funny. It feels very chaotic as I describe it, but
oh,
I see why you say logistical. But that's how a warehouse is, though. It
yeah,
is chaos in the order of the
organized
logistics
chaos.
of the moving.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's it.
Interesting. It's also interesting because there was a time in my life where I was like a hyper planner.
Mhm.
Like I was very much involved in
Mm.
the logistics, if you
Right.
will, of the things, right? And I feel like, especially since I think since coming here to Colombia, so for context, I moved here to Colombia in December 2022, and then I
Mhm.
left December 2023, and then I was in Mexico City for a few months, and now I'm back in Colombia. I told you I talked to the attorney the other day.
You told me you were going, but we never finished.
Baby,
Tell
sis
me.
is gonna be able to stay here in the country at least through June 2025.
Won't he do it? Won't he? Will. Amen.
The
All
attorney
right.
was
All
like,
right,
girl,
Keenan, get our cousin trip together now.
because this was the thing, because I had not worked, right? So again, context, had a mental health. Oh, I met this lady. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place right now, but this is all going somewhere. I met the lady that owns the apartment, right? That
Oh,
I'm
good.
gonna move into.
Yes.
So she is like crazy wild, and I can tell you about that in a second. But when she talks, she goes parenthesis blah da 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 da. And I was like, girl, this is amazing. I'm about to put that in rotation. Parentheses. I'm
I
like, I
love
do
it.
parentheses all the time. And she was like,
I love it.
yeah, I said, I just never announced it. So she was like, yeah, I always announce it. And I was like, this is, thank you. I'm taking
You
it.
know, they tell us that's
So
a trauma response now.
is it?
Parentheses,
That's
because
a
it's
trauma
there,
response?
because we're so used to not being, we're so afraid of being misunderstood
Misunderstood.
because it wasn't safe. If maybe you said something and the context wasn't there, they didn't get it, that you go through explaining. So
Oh my
parentheses are
God.
safety. Girl,
No, I did not know that, but it makes all
parentheses,
the damn sense in the damn world. Wow.
parentheses are
So
a trauma response.
that's crazy. That's very interesting. So anyway, so all the parentheses of the thing. So I talked to the attorney and I hadn't been working since
Hmm.
July because I had the mental health situation that happened July 25th. So I hadn't worked August, September, October, November, December. So in order for me to renew my visa, my digital nomad visa, I'd have to show like that I have had income. Can I have?
Right, right, right.
So then I was like, so my visa ends in June. So how can when do I need to reapply? Because when do the 3 months start? Right. Since now
Right,
I'm working
right.
now.
We're
So I'm
getting
like, is
these.
this enough? Like February, March, April, May. Like, what does that look like? So he was like, girl, listen, let me tell you what you do. He was like, you're gonna stay here to the visa expires. He's like, then you're gonna have 30 days and then you're gonna leave and come back, right? It's gonna take you a trip somewhere. Okay.
Hmm.
And then now you're gonna have a tourist visa from July through what is it, August, September, October. Then in October, you're gonna renew that. Okay, then you're gonna be here through December. Okay, then in December or January, you're gonna take you another quick trip somewhere. You're gonna come back. Then you're gonna be here January through March. Then you're gonna renew. Then you're gonna have March through June. Okay. Then at
Go
that
ahead.
point, if you want to go to school, you could get that. If you want to, you'll be working by that time. So you go ahead and
Right.
apply for the digital nomad. I was like, come on, Mr. Attorney. You
Go
better help me
ahead.
figure this out. So that was like the biggest weight lifted because I am not the type of person who likes some people collect countries. Like some people I've been to
Uh,
so and so and like they just out
right.
here just it's a lot
Seeing
for
it
me. I
all.
need to sit my ass down somewhere. You know, I got to sit down. I need to be settled. Like it's a lot for me. So I was like, I wanted to stay here longer. And I was
Right.
just trying to figure out what that looked like or whatever. Unless, side note, one of these nice Colombian men decide that they want to volunteer as tributes.
That's the problem.
I mean,
Dun
I'm
dun
just
dun. I'm
we'll
just
talk about that on the
saying.
Patreon, but I'm just saying,
Right.
unless somebody want
You
to step up
know,
to the plate,
know somebody.
just saying. But yes, I was really excited about that. So the girl that owns the apartment, girl, why is she like, so we're talking, I'm already like vibing with her energy or whatever. And when I was looking at the apartment, Tony, you down for a Colombian wedding. When I was looking at the apartment, she was
We're gonna make
like, do
you a
you
flower
want
girl.
I don't even want to win, y'all, but that's a whole nother situation. But anyway, so so she was like, do you want to go to the mall? Like I can show you the nearest mall. And so you can kind of get an idea like of what life would be like and where you would go, blah, blah, whatever. So we're sitting at the mall and she mentions plant-based medicine. And
Hmm.
I was like, yes,
I
tell
need that.
me the
All the
thing.
things. All the things.
Girl, why is her brother someone who takes people on ayahuasca journeys? She's like, my mom and I have been to Peru with him to have an ayahuasca journey. He comes
What?
to the States to do ayahuasca journeys. She's like, and at first my parents are really skeptical. She's like, but then they started to see the way that our lives changed, and then they became more receptive. She's like, it's just, we just really want to help heal people. And the mom is like a neuro coach or something. So she helps people get these calm
Oh
nervous
wow.
systems that I hear they be handing out.
Oh
Um,
girl.
it was wild, Kalanda. Like I was sitting there talking to her, like, girl, who are you and where you came from? Who are you and where did you come from?
Oh my
It
goodness.
was it was really wild. So I feel like to the earlier point, full circle moment. My guy is at work today. He's doing the damn thug
He's
business.
doing his good work.
He's doing it. But full circle.
That's why I can't do plant based medicine and have full conversations. That thought would have been so gone. Like y'all gonna have to rewind it yourselves. Just keep track.
But I be like that sometimes. Sometimes I be like, I don't know what I just said. This is why I started recording myself because I don't be knowing. I just be talking. And then I go back and I'll be like, that nigga was spitting.
I
That
was on
girl,
something. I was on
hello.
something.
Oh.
We lost her, y'all.
this
We
is
lost
this
her.
is why this is why we can't sit next to each other.
Exactly.
Um but yeah, so full circle moment to the healing and the way that God is orchestrating these small things, right? So
Mhm.
I was telling her and explaining to her, and again, full circle moment to where I started off with all this. I used to really, really be a planner, and I used to be very,
Mhm.
very obsessive. I can't even think of another word about making sure that everything was planned out. And since I've been here in Colombia, I have allowed my days to unfold.
Mhm.
And I wake up more with an intention of going where God directs me. And it could
Right.
be anything. It could be like, let me turn on, I feel in my spirit, let me turn on YouTube. But then I turn on YouTube and I'm like, let me watch this video. And then I watch this video. And now all of a sudden it's opened up this creative pathway for me to be like, oh, I
Mhm.
should do this or whatever. Like, so that has really been interesting. And it reminds me of what I had told you earlier of we're on this journey, finding out what God is doing while we're on
While
the
he's
journey.
doing.
And
Yeah.
I'm wondering what it feels like for you to be watching like things happening in front of your face. And you're like, this is crazy because when I don't like to use crazy, but this is, I don't know what other words to use.
It's
This is fascinating. It's wild. It's
yeah.
amazing. It's all
Fantastical.
inspiring. Yeah.
Right. It's what's funny too though, it's almost like the smaller things are the ones that get my attention. Sorry, guys. More than the bigger ones. Please keep doing the big things. Um, but but it's just going, oh, I really need gas. Lord knows how that's gonna happen today. And then coming across an $11, Visa gift card in my purse that I didn't realize I had. You're like, oh, that's enough gas to get me to this interview tomorrow.
Mhm, mhm.
Or oh, free breakfast points at Chick-fil-A. Like, you want to talk about make a way out of no way. Like,
Right.
it's the, but something
Yeah.
so small, and have it be that, have that much of an impact on me, and let that carry the rest of the day. Because now it's
Mm-hmm.
like anything's possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
I can, like, well, what else? Now I'm excited. What else are you gonna do? Like, show out then. Let me find a real big bone under my sink, and my dog's gonna be quiet for an hour and 10 minutes. Who knew? Jesus did. You know, but
The small
it's
things.
it's the small things. So in this journey of watching it all happen and still being able to like marvel in the magic of it all, it's crazy. Exactly. God is
I
driving, and
love
I am absolutely riding shotgun, and I am probably
Yeah.
asleep. I am a passenger princess though. So I'm like, got my books, got my blanket. I am a good navigator if they let me. Um, I'm not so much about the aux chords. I want you to control your own music. I think the
Okay.
driver should set the tone, because
Uh-huh.
that's their space. I want them to
Uh-huh.
feel good about them. This is not your turn to show
Yeah.
out your eclectic musical collection that I don't
Facts.
want to listen to. You know what I
Facts.
mean?
Because I gotta
But
stay
that's
awake
good
and
for
alert
you.
to drive.
You know what I'm saying? And I
Yeah.
might just want to regale you with my concert performance of Jill Scott's live show. I mean, that's just how it happens in my car. I don't know what y'all do. Who's your favorite car concert? Tell me who you like.
Favorite
I don't.
car concert.
Yeah,
I'm gonna think on that. But go
and
ahead.
y'all can
Keep
tell us in the comments too, because I'm an only child. I do talk to myself, but I do like answers and stuff. So feel free to pop that in there. We gonna throw them up on the screen. But yeah, so it's been awe-inspiring just watching it happen, and it's super exciting at the prospect of what the future holds. Um, and it gives me so much more hope that I didn't have
going.
before, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's really the biggest thing, is being able to say for the first time in a long time, like we both have had our own mental health crises recently, and trigger warnings of whenever those conversations come up. Um, but that I didn't have that. I didn't have it, and
Yeah.
I didn't. I don't even know when I lost it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know in that, because outside looking in, most people would say we are happy people.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
Yeah. But there's
so,
so much else that's going on.
right, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, you know, being able to revel in the little car concerts and the free biscuits and the good time. Uh, yes, dancing in the Sade or Frankie B and me, Frankie Beverly and Maze.
Absolutely.
Always a good one. We are
Yeah.
one. I be driving down the street like this. I always wonder, side note, if you do you ever try to figure out what people are listening to? Like, when you see them rocking out hard as hell in the car, do
I
you try to
used
figure
to.
out what song? I
Yeah.
definitely do that.
Yeah,
Because
I
here
used
I
to.
was
Because I
car and
love
I'm
a good
looking and
car
wondering.
concert. I love
Yes.
a good car concert. Like they are everything. And I would probably say the best car concert I think I've had recently, like because mind you, I haven't driven right since I left. But the last car concert I remember I was driving, I think from Pennsylvania to New York, if I'm not mistaken. And it was Meg the Stallion. It started out with
Yeah.
Meg and Beyonce's Savage remix.
Okay.
Okay. So that was
Okay.
on repeat a few times. You feel me? And then what I likes to do is I just like to let the playlist go
Got it.
from there. You see?
Mm.
So sometimes I be feeling like I'm a rapper or whatever.
Right.
And like for instance, one of my favorite songs to rap is 21 Savage and J. Cole a lot. Okay. So the song is like something, 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 a lot. Da, 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 a lot. Da, 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 a lot. Right? So this is
Right.
me. This is me. I'm cutting it up. A lot. A lot. Like I'm really saying something. I don't know what else the hell they saying. But that a lot part, be there for it. You feel me? I'll
You in
be
it. You
on
were
it.
ready.
Yeah, so then I kind of go down that lane, and then I'll probably go over to
Mm.
some Kendrick, some Kendrick
Okay.
Lamar. I'll
Okay.
be over there, you feel me.
So you a hip hop
um
head in your car concert.
Because that's where I could really show up. You
You
feels
can.
like
Oh,
if
okay.
you know what I mean? Like that's why I could really,
Oh,
because then this be like this, and then the people that are watching, they like, oh, she hardcore, you know what I mean? She from these streets.
right.
And I be like,
She
that's
knows.
right.
She know what's happening out here.
That's right. Got it out the mud, you feel me? Now when I have my R&B concerts though.
I'm sorry. I was supposed to go along with that, huh? That was my bad. I mean, yeah, yeah. We all
I'm
know
a
about.
gangster girl.
We
What's
all
wrong with
know about
you?
Kimberly T in these streets.
What's so funny though? Side note, so this be the best car concerts is the '90s rap, the '90s hip hop. Because how about when I was actually in Mexico City and they had did this hip hop night and it was finished the lyrics, right?
Uh,
I know all these lyrics. Like I do
huh.
this, but they
This is
ain't
me.
know, right? Because I was just back in the cut. You feel me? Because I ain't trying to, take the shine
You
as
know,
such.
right, right. No, of
Y'all
course
got
not.
your little hip hop thing going on. Yeah, I'm just sitting back here now. So they had played Crossroads, was it? It was something
Oh
with Bone
wow.
Thugs and Harmony.
Yes.
Baby, let me tell you something about Kimberly and Bone Thugs and Harmony. Okay.
All
My
I know
friend
is I had
Erica,
the tape.
we bonded over
Bone
Bone
Thugs.
Thugs. You feel me? Okay.
Yes.
So I'm back there and I'm like, I'm saying the words. So they cut it off. The girl didn't know what the words was. And I was like, I got you back here, boo. And she didn't think that she
Ah,
didn't believe me. And I was like, sis, I got you. Like, you just need to come on. And then I was like, I don't want to say it was the part they was talking about Uncle Charles or whatever. But
yeah,
I
Uncle
could hear the words and
Charles,
she
y'all.
won. She won. And I
Ah,
was like, I tried to
you're
tell you.
welcome.
Then they played regulators.
Oh,
Shut
mama.
Shut it down. It was a clear black night, a clear white moon. Warren G was on the streets trying to consume some skirts for the ease so I could get some soul rolling in my ride, feeling all alone. Just hit the east side. Then I be doing both parts because I'm ridiculous. But yeah, so
Yeah,
now
yeah, yep.
that's a car concert. Yeah,
That's a good one. That's
yeah.
a good one.
That's car
I thought I
concert.
was
That's
Cardi B yesterday,
that's
so that was good.
karaoke.
That
Like
was
yeah. It's real. It's real. But yeah. So anyway, um, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be an
yes, it
interesting
is.
journey that
Yes, it is. That we are embarking on. Thank y'all for joining us.
this is going to be an interesting journey. Also, we don't really know what day and time that we're going to now have the shows because Kalanda has options. Okay. And, she out here fielding offers and such.
Well, you know.
So we're going to figure out what that looks like, what that sounds like, and when we're gonna actually be here with you all.
Mhm.
But this is what the experience is gonna be like. It's gonna be a good time.
A
You
good
never
time. You know?
you never know
Some fun stuff.
what's gonna happen. You never know. So I do have a question before we wrap out. Is there
Yes.
anything that you are like, we want people to be sending good intentions towards, or like, sending good energy towards, or stuff like that? What would you like to say that might
Ooh.
be for you?
Oh my goodness. Please send good energy and intentions for um my peace of mind, child. Just
Mm,
so I don't overthink, just help build up the trust in the process. I think
mm,
that is the biggest thing I could use. Any little 5-second prayer you could throw out that way of just give Kalanda a little peace of mind. Tell her rest and sit down somewhere that somebody is bigger and has it in their hands. Like you're not gonna
mhm,
figure it all out. So any version of that is truly
mhm.
helpful. I think that
I'm
would
gonna
that would
say
be
to that
enormous.
too, that there be some very clear and explicit signs that
Amen.
make themselves
Right.
bright.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I
Let
like
me
it.
think
What would
what.
you?
Um, I think for me, it is the organization of all these projects that I
Mm.
have. in my mind. Like I really, um, I do want to open my life coaching back up, and I want to open up the opportunity for life coaches to get certified. So I do want to do that. I actually feel this is something specific that people can help direct energy towards. I kind of feel like I am transitioning the work that I do in school improvement and thinking about it in a different way. So I need some like clarity there because sometimes the work that I do it feels very cyclical
Mm,
and you feel very trapped because it is mindset work.
got
And
it.
I am very cautious of just doing something just to do it, just to get a
Mm,
paycheck. Like I want to do things
right.
that are making an impact. And if I'm not seeing that impact, then I don't really have a desire to be drawn to it, even though it may come with a hefty paycheck. But
Ah.
and also if I give up that hefty paycheck, sweet Lord Jesus, where is this money coming from? You feel when
Amen.
insert all these other projects. So I do feel like that there are projects that I have inside of me right now that I want to get
Mm,
out, that will actually present a different path, but
mm,
I haven't been able to direct enough brain people to getting it done. So
got it.
that's what I feel like I need some energy directed towards is kind of making that pathway clear because right now it's the Wall Street trades floor where
She's like, I still have the papers, the
it's
tickers.
just papers flying around every day. Girl, I need this shit organized in a damn binder or something. Okay, can we get a presentation? Like relax. So that's what I want to direct energy
I
towards.
love
Yeah,
it.
that's what it is. So having said that, you can catch this replay as many times as you want to, okay?
Yes.
Because
And don't worry, we'll put
we
together a little Amazon wish list for Sarah. That way, if y'all want to get her toy so that you can listen to this tap shoe free and song free, we'll
and
definitely allow
honey,
that
I
for
am
you.
proud of Sarah, girl. You
She
can look, Mandy, she attested to it in the chat. She says Sarah ain't never been this quiet.
never, never.
So we gonna
Her
have to do
jaw's
it again.
probably tired.
We gonna have to do a GoFundMe or something. Yeah, the Amazon link something for Sarah so that she could make
Something.
sure that she had the things, honey, because sis was on her best behavior today.
Best
Okay,
behavior.
the
It
best.
didn't start out
So
that
well,
way. It did not start out that way.
it did not. It did not. It was a rocky road, but we got there.
We,
And that's what's important. So we will be doing all that. We'll also put up a picture of Sarah so that you can see who she is in her pearls
yes.
and such.
Yeah.
So thank y'all for being a part of this here inaugural episode.
Woo,
So you
woo,
don't put
woo.
syrup on your grilled cheese. Look out for all sorts of things. Okay, you know what? Do I still have an air horn in here? Oh,
Yeah.
that was them
Ba, ba,
beautiful
ba,
brown girls.
ba. Just like that.
Yes, that was funny.
Always. On that.
So you'll start to see sound effects, different backgrounds and stuff, right? As we develop this out. Also, if there's stuff that you're like, oh, I want to know more about this, or oh, can y'all talk about this, or tell me about a funny time that, or whatever, please do drop that kind of stuff in the comments.
Yeah. You ever
We
want to know what happened to your go kart years ago that I was not
will.
involved in? Feel free.
First of all, no, we need to tell this story. Keenan, you still here? Keenan, are you still identify yourself in the chat if you still here? Y'all, I got this how we gonna go out on this story because Kalanda, swear to God, this did not happen. Kalanda, I'm gonna let you tell the story.
I don't
You
know.
tell the
I don't know that I was here for any of this. I
bruh.
don't
Let me tell
remember this
y'all what happened.
happening.
Let me
Looks
tell
like
y'all what
Keenan's
happened.
gone. Oh well.
I'm gonna clip it, I'm gonna send it to
He's still here. He's still
okay, y'all.
here.
So this is our cousin, right? And when we were younger, he had a go kart one time. So we lived in this area of town that was it was a park, but it's called Punch Train Park, is what it was called. So I lived over there and there's a golf course. So our cousin's grandmother lived
I told
across the
y'all she
street
had money.
from the golf course. Okay, shut up, girl. So so she lived across from the golf course, Medea. Okay. So Medea lived across the street from the golf course. So Keenan was at his grandma's house, but he had his golf cart there. So Kalanda and I guess left my house and went over there by Medea and saw Keenan have the golf cart, the go kart. So we asked if we could take the go kart for a spin. All right. Now Kalanda is older than me. Okay.
Barely.
At at this time, how old were we at this? Keenan, how old were you when you
He
he said his
said,
first set of wheels? Keenan, how old were you when you had this go-kart? So I'm gonna say I don't think it wasn't high school. So I had to be like
no.
in middle school. So it had to be like 12, 13, 14, somewhere around maybe 11, 12, 13, something like that. So Kalanda's older than me, right? Therefore, she
He
about
see,
10
I
or
thought it
11.
was
Yeah.
young. Oh,
Okay.
I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah. So we was like 10 or 11. And me and Keenan are the same age, right? So Kalanda, but anyway. So Kalanda's the more responsible older cousin. Okay. So she's driving the go-kart. All right. So we take off, we drive in the go-kart. And for some we were gonna do like a big loop. Okay, so we go off, so we going down the street or whatever. So this car gets behind us and they blow the horn. Okay.
Rude. Rude.
Kalanda drives up on a tree, flips the go-kart, and both of us fly out the go-kart in the middle of the street. Okay.
Hmm.
I remember that I landed on the ground and I hit my head on the ground and I had a barrette that was holding my hair. And I remember being mad because my barrette was broken. And I was like, what the hell? Now we definitely got to go to my house because I can't just be out here with my hair all crazy, right? Because you always
Oh,
got to have your hair combed, you always got to have earrings on, right?
right.
But the people that blew the horn, they get out. Oh my gosh, are
We
y'all
almost killed two
okay?
children.
Stupid ass, why the hell did you see?
Oh
No,
my
we
God.
flipped the go-kart back over, swing by my house, get another barrette, and drop the go-kart off. We get back to the house. Keena says, where did Scratch come up? And we was like, I don't know, that was already out.
What's scratch?
All right.
Oh, time to go home. Kim, your mama called. Keenan,
That
in my defense, I don't remember this happening.
that is what happened when we drove the go-kart.
My word. Oh,
That's where
my
the
word.
scratch. That's where the scratch came from on the go-kart. And that is our first episode of So You Don't Put Syrup on Your Cheese.
Love y'all. See y'all next time.
So make sure, if you have not already done so, make sure that you have liked, commented, subscribed, Minded by Black Ass Business on all platforms. This is, man, listen,
Hey, we
we
made
could have, it could have went another way. Okay, it
it.
could have went another way.
Dude.
Please do make sure Minded by Black Ass Business on all platforms here on YouTube. We'll be streaming here on YouTube and Facebook as we build out this this podcast. And yeah, this is what it is: us telling stories, us talking about stuff, and dropping gems as we are
There you
here.
go.
So again, if you found any of this entertaining, exciting, enlightening, any of that, please do share. Please do leave a comment. Please do tell other people about it. We'll be back in approximately 2 weeks, but we will let you all know what day and time that will be once we figure all of that out. So we'll be back soon,
Love
y'all.
y'all.
Love y'all so much. Bye.
Bye.